All right, what we got here is a Plymouth 1936 a rat rod build. I believe this will be episode number 12 right now. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, we got it right at the middle of July 2014 right now, and actually making some pretty decent progress. I got rack and pinion on it right now. I got my front fender mounts done today, and I've got my artillery 17 inches with some Cooper XSTs. These in front are 235, 55 R17s. And the back I got some what I call monster meat. It's not super big, but these are 275, 55 R17, and I think it actually has got a pretty good stance. I tell you what, I probably spent about a good 3-4 hours measuring back spacing and how much distance I have in here, but actually I got it spot on. So I've got a good 2 inches in here, 1.5 inches maybe. Same thing on the other side. And so this is actually looking pretty decent. I got plenty of clearance up in here. Those are my Ford Explorer rear discs, and those are my artillery wheels from the inside. And I had AFEs, the PX over here in Germany, mount and balance my tires out here for about $9 a pop. So anyway, let's see. Quick show what I did today. Wheels are mounted sometime about 2 weeks ago. I've actually got my body mounts on right now, and I tell you what, that's what's been taking me about 2 solid days right now just to get everything right, because everybody knows stance is what it's all about, especially in my book. So front rack and pinion steering. This is a power rack and pinion steering, and what I had to do here today is actually do a little plasma cutting right here, and then what I did here is I went ahead and just made this a little bit small. This was a solid piece, but obviously it was interfering here. I left myself probably a good 2 inches up in here when this thing is settled down, and that when the wheel goes up and down everything, I won't have any interference. Same thing of obviously on the other side. Now I actually got this little spacing right up in here, so when we do our welding right here, it'll be a nice little bead in here. It'll all be TIG welded and looking all pretty. Same thing right here. Always leave this little lap right here so you can put the nice little fill of molten lava metal up in there. Also, was wir hier haben, ist unsere Zahnlenkstangung, also mit Servo, und das war's eigentlich. Gestern waren wir noch bei the European Street Rod Association Nationals in Bad Kustel Klaus or something like that. I forgot the name of the place. Very nice event, very well organized. Unfortunately it rained on us most of the time. So anyway, here it is. I got the motor in here. The frame's basically done. I just have to do the final welding on it right now. And what we've got right here is a little work I did today. Now, it's not the most prettiest stuff, but you're not going to see any of this shit. But here's my welding, and you can see right up here is my body mount for the front. This is nice little rubber, and I got a bottom piece of rubber over there I'm going to put on here. So what I did is I put these little braces up in here with gussets and everything, and just basically joined this piece coming around here. Now up underneath here, I'm going to hit this with a pressure washer. We actually have a steam cleaner up in here. And then might do a little sandblasting on here, and then I'm going to put that epoxy plane in here. Now the battery's actually going to sit up right up in here. That's my plan anyway, just to get everything out the way. What else I got? Motor 283, although I've actually been playing with the idea of going ahead and order the Connect and Cruise LS3, except I'm torn between 430 horsepower version and the 480 horsepower version. And my ultimate goal is to have a nice smooth cruising car with electric cutouts. By the way, those parts showed up too. And then let me just step in here, and I'll show you this right up in here. Here I just did my body welding up in here. These are my mounts. Pretty stout stuff. I might put one little gusset right up in here, so it'll strengthen it up a little bit. And I know this is kind of ugly in here, but I'll clean all this up and everything, get these edges out. This right here will be media blasted or just sand blasted really hard. And I'll just put a nice coat of Rust-Oleum and then paint up on it. And I think that's about it on the back. Now, my back obviously looks kind of ugly right now, but once I get the frame done, painted, then I'll start building the floor for this thing. So anyway, not a whole lot more to see up in here. Got a nice day here in Germany. I don't even know what it looked like right now, but I've been out here since about probably 9 o'clock this morning. So, and it actually rained most of the day, so that's what's nice about sitting in a facility like this. It's nice and dry and warm. But anyway, I tell you what, I love these rims. I love these tires, and it's exactly what I was looking for. I was going to go for some bling bling stuff, but the problem with that is I'm trying to get the, I don't want to make up a new phrase here, but rat rod is getting kind of old. So I want the old gangster look. Obviously I'm going to take these windows out because they're not safety glass. And then I'm going to find a German company to put me some, not super dark tinting, but it's a dark tint. And then if you notice that hole in the roof right now, I've been on German eBay, and they have what's called panoramic glass roofs in here. And there's actually one out of a BMW, an E92 series and E91s, basically a BMW station wagon, and they've got that huge glass sunroof in here. So ultimately, that's the goal, is to fill that whole thing up just like I did with the 1930 Model A Coupe. What's it? World Cup's tonight, so Germany plays Argentina about 9 o'clock. So that's just enough time for me to clean this shop up, get home, sneak a shower, and have a steak. I got a little ribeye waiting for me at the house, so that's the plan for the evening. Anyway, take care. I should actually be working on this thing again next weekend, so I'll figure out what to do. But again, I'll probably have to figure out within the next week or two whether I can go ahead and yank this motor out of here. I know the original plan was just to go ahead and put this one in here temporarily for a year, but I'm going like, what the hell, I'm going to spend the money anyway, so I can go ahead and get rid of this one right now and drop the LS3 connecting cruise, just because any kind of welding or re-welding I have to do here, I can go ahead and drop the motor in right now. It's a little bit more work, but I'm just shooting for the winter time right here. That way I got everything back at the house and the garage, and I can play with the wiring and everything else on it. So anyway, that's the plan. Gonna get a nice big stainless steel gas tank back there, and I'll do some measuring, and I can actually figure out what the size is. So I'll just pan down right here. Everything worked out great today, and I tell you what, man, this little sucker right here called a plasma cutter, it just makes butter out of little pieces like this. I just honked these out of here and then just trimmed it up a little bit with the grinder, but it's just like cutting butter with a knife. Love that thing. And if you mess up a little bit, you just trim a little bit more out. So here you go, here are these little pieces out here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tool. Hook a little compressed air to the back of it. Obviously wear your welding mask, and it's just beautiful, beautiful cuts on this thing. Also Plasmaschneider natürlich, wenn wir die Vorderachse machen. And there goes my compressor. So from Ronneberg, Germany, take care, bye-bye.